And state regulators are reportedly preventing thousands of samples from the Seattle flu study to be tested for coronavirus. It's an allegation raised in a New York Times story. KOMO's Matt Markovich has been tracking the progress of this landmark flu study and joins us live with the details. Matt?
Yeah, Mary, we spoke with the director of the Seattle flu study back in December when the flu study was just getting started. But now she and her team are involved in a controversy because they went ahead and tested for COVID-19 in those flu samples against state and federal guidelines. For months, Seattleites were volunteering swabs of their snot as part of a one-of-a-kind study to track the spread of flu throughout Seattle. But it's also the same kind of sample needed to test for coronavirus. The flu study had collected nearly 2,500, with a caveat. Is that kind of information can be passed on to your personal doctor?
No, not unless people explicitly want to do it themselves.
We spoke with the director just as COVID-19 hit China.
We would not transmit the information to their provider or to anybody else. It would just be given to the person who did the test.
But the New York Times has reported federal and state officials told Dr. Chu and her team they could not test for coronavirus without the permission from the research subjects. They did it anyway just a few weeks ago. Then Elizabeth Schneider says a flu study nurse called her,
saying that I had tested positive for COVID-19.
Other samples led to a positive test of a teenager and a temporary closure of a high school, and evidence that the virus was in Seattle weeks before it showed up in patients at the Life Care Center of Kirkland. But now state regulators have reportedly stepped in and told flu researchers to stop testing their samples for COVID-19. The flu study's principal investigator now defending his team's actions, saying there are times when we have all felt the need to move fast in an effort to save lives.
7-year-old Seattle woman who says she tested positive for coronavirus hopes others will learn how easy it can spread and how long symptoms can last. KOMO's Suzanne Fon FaceTimed with the woman today and has the very latest with her story.
I did get a phone call from them on Saturday saying that I had tested positive for COVID-19.
Elizabeth Schneider says when she got word from Seattle flu study that she had coronavirus, she was shocked.
I thought, oh gosh, I probably just contracted a flu strain that isn't covered in my flu vaccine.
Schneider says it all started after she attended a small house party on February 22nd. 3 days later, though, she came down with a fever. It spiked at 103.
Starting to shiver and, get the chills.
On March 1st, she decided to get tested by Seattle flu study. She said she got a call from the research group 6 days later. They told her she tested positive for COVID-19.
They did send me a follow-up email afterwards, and then they sent me some attachments related to, what you should do if you've contracted COVID-19.
The CDC says the primary symptoms of the virus include fever, cough, and shortness of breath.
I didn't have a cough. I didn't have tightness in my chest.
Schneider says she never went to the doctor because she started to feel better. As a 37-year-old woman without any underlying health conditions, Schneider says she's not in the high-risk group.
I think there are a lot more people out there who are experiencing these symptoms and are just kind of writing it off as a cold or a nasty flu, but in reality, they most likely have the coronavirus and could potentially spread it to others.
Governor's ban has a lot of sports fans wondering if that's gone too far. KOMO's Keith Eldridge live in Cheney Stadium this afternoon, where we're seeing our first sporting event affected, and that's soccer. Keith?
Absolutely. The Tacoma Defiance getting ready to take on San Diego. San Diego's on the field right now, getting ready to go, but they're going to have to do it without their top weapon, and that's the sports fans themselves. Cheney Stadium is empty, and it's going to stay that way by order of the governor. Now, the team, part of the Seattle Sounders organization, decided to go ahead with the match because, well, the opposing team was already in town. The next home match, March 22nd, will be rescheduled. The Seattle Dragons XFL football team going to do the same thing on Sunday and play the game in front of an empty stadium. The players will have to be the ones doing the cheering. As for the Sounders themselves, well, they're not going to go without that sound, the fans screaming, so they're going to postpone the next home game at CenturyLink March 21st.
While scientists work to solve the mystery and health experts work to contain this nasty virus, scammers are working to cash in on the worldwide anxiety. Remember, scammers always follow the headlines.
And so Something like this is a prime target for scammers to go after.
This is David Mills with the U.S. Secret Service in Seattle. His headquarters office in D.C. released a new alert this week. Watch your email inbox. Scammers are making mass distributions of phishing scams, messages with links that appear to come from legitimate medical or health organizations.
Folks will click on those links because they want to know more about the virus and or purchase something that they may think protects them.
Instead, you get a computer virus that locks up your system until you pay or lets scammers take over your account and personal information. Other concerns, bogus charities.
As always, just go to the ones that you know, the charities that you trust and that are nationally known.
And unsupported claims that products can treat or prevent coronavirus. The feds just sent warning letters to 7 companies pitching teas, oils, even liquid silver supplements. But no product has been approved for COVID-19 prevention or treatment. That's what scientists are tirelessly trying to find. Finally, COVID treatment products that don't even exist.
It's just a snatch and grab, if you will. They're taking the money and not delivering a product at all.
They get my money up front,
Up front.
and then I wait.
And you wait, and the product never comes.
Don't click on links in unsolicited email. Only support established local charities you know about. Don't spend money on products that claim to be cures or treatments. Nothing has been scientifically proven or approved. Don't answer the phone if you don't recognize the number. I've got to tell you that on caller ID because coronavirus robocall scams certainly can't be far off.